to Spoonie Style. I'm Melanie, your Spoonie Style guide. For many of you, this is your very first episode with me. Perhaps someone in your life asked you to watch this episode because there are some topics being discussed today that they would like you to know more about. For others of you, you're with me for the past 3 weeks, and I'd like to say thank you for coming back. This is a very special episode because I asked my fellow Spoonies to either email me, text me, or tweet me things that they would like to tell the people in their lives, whether it's their significant others, their children, their parents, their coworkers, or their friends. So far, I have not shared much of my personal story because the point of my vlog is to help other Spoonies. It's not to focus on my illness. There are tons of bloggers who do focus on their personal illness, and each of our stories do help to add a voice to what Spoonies go through. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am 38. I am a mother of 4. I have a 17-year-old, a soon-to-be 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 12-year-old. I will be married 19 years very soon. I was a teacher up until October. This past 2 years, I taught 2 sections of art and also several sections of Spanish. I grew up in the performing arts. I danced. I also did a lot of visual arts. I really enjoy things like drawing and knitting, building things, anything that has to do with use of the body. I did ballet dance, and I also was in musical theater right through my 4th pregnancy. And after my 4th pregnancy, I still continued to perform in musical theater. I coached cheerleading and dance for many years, and only until recently has my health started to decline to the point to where I am unable to teach or perform or coach. I have multiple disabilities. I think the best way to go about speaking about my experience is to go in chronological order. For as long as I can remember, I have gotten terrible migraines. When I was a child, I used to take Tylenol allergy sinus. I used to get a lot of nosebleeds. I had a lot of pain. As a teenager, when I went to the OBGYN, he told me that he saw I had several uterine issues and that he wouldn't tell me that I could not get pregnant, but that getting pregnant would be very difficult for me. That became a running joke between me and my OBGYN because, of course, I went on to have 4 children. So he wasn't going to get sued for saying I couldn't have children. I wasn't actually diagnosed with anything until I went off to college. My first diagnosis came from the Student Health Center, and they told me I had migraines. At the age of about 20, I remember having disabling stomach aches and also having blood in my stool. And so I got my first colonoscopy at 21 years old. At that time, I was told I had irritable bowel syndrome. Shortly thereafter, I started to see a chiropractic physician about my migraines and also my eating problems. The chiropractic physician did some workups on me and told me that I should avoid many foods, including several different kinds of fruits and vegetables, meat, bread, and she also told me that I was allergic to dust. When I was pregnant with my first daughter, I got chronic bronchitis and I had to sleep sitting up. So I went to an allergenist and I was told that I had developed asthma and that I was allergic to grass, trees, and dust. Because of my allergies, my asthma would flare up, and also I would get migraines. So even at that age, at 20, 21, I had days where I couldn't go outside because of the allergens that day, or perhaps it was too sunny and that would lead me to have a migraine. Um, I started to notice that I got more aches and pains and pops in my body. It became very obvious that there was something going on the arthritic scale. Both my brother and my father had arthritis when I was younger. I went to the doctor because I had a growth right about here in my neck, and my mother kept insisting that I get it looked at. I was told that I had a tumor in a salivary gland, and the doctor at that time told me that a body that makes tumors will continue to make tumors. Even though the tumor that I had at the time was benign, he told me to continue to look out for tumors in my body. I asked him to look at a lump in my wrist, and I asked if that was also a tumor. He told me that that was a ganglion cyst. And ganglion cysts are cysts, so they're a type of tumor, but they are arthritic. And so that confirmed my feelings of me having arthritis. My health began to seriously decline, I'd say about 7 years ago. I noticed that my migraines were more frequent. I noticed that I felt a lot more stressed, a lot more tired. My arthritis made it really difficult for me to continue to move around in a cold climate. So we picked up and moved to a more warmer climate. Shortly after moving to the warmer climate, um, my headaches got worse. I got MRSA from work, and that made me ill. And I also had a lot of ER visits because of migraines. About 5 years ago, I was coaching one day and I was conditioning with my girls. We went down into a push up and I was unable to push myself back up because my wrists gave out. On another occasion, we were dancing and I dropped it like it was hot, but I couldn't pick it back up because my knees gave out. When I coached, I was able to demonstrate triple jumps for my girls in cheerleading. Um, Within the past 2 years, I am no longer able to do that because of my joint pain and my joints just not cooperating with me. My health seriously started to deteriorate 3 years ago after a car accident. A guy T-boned me while I was parked, and a couple months after that, I got really bad neurological pain. And I went to the hospital and they diagnosed me with neuropathy. A few months after that, I was diagnosed with myofascial pain disorder. I had an MRI done for my hip because I was having severe hip pain, and at that time they found that I had polycystic ovaries and that I had endometriosis and that my uterus was enlarged. They told me the only relief I would get from that pain was to have a hysterectomy. So at the age of 36, I had a hysterectomy. I had been clenching my teeth in pain and causing stress fractures in my teeth. And when the anesthesiologist put me under for my hysterectomy, The anesthesiologist actually busted my lip, so I woke up with a busted lip. 2 days after my hysterectomy, I was eating a sandwich and one of my teeth broke off in my mouth. I was on antibiotics for 6 months from the time of my hysterectomy and continued to leak. And they kept telling me that it was an infection. I was worried because I have MRSA in my body now. And I went 2 hours away to a better hospital where they told me that it definitely was not an infection and that I should see a general surgeon. The general surgeon did emergency surgery to remove whatever it was in my belly button that was causing it to leak. And he told me that it was endometriosis, that after my endoscopic surgery that I had endometriosis cells in my belly button. So they actually had to cut away all of my tissue, and I have very little of my original belly button scar left. About a month after I had the surgery to remove my belly button, I developed a disorder called palatal myoclonus. Palatal myoclonus is a seizure disorder. My brain is sending a signal to my palate, which is the soft part in the roof of your mouth that separates your mouth from your nose, to constantly vibrate. So 24 hours a day, my palate vibrates. This causes dizziness, fibromyalgia. One of the symptoms is dizziness. So I get severe dizziness to the point to where all I can do sometimes is lie down with my eyes closed and I still feel the room spinning. The palatal myoclonus also causes other issues. I had insomnia for about a month after I first developed it because I would keep myself awake due to the constant clicking noise. You can't hear my palatal myoclonus when I'm talking because the moving of my tongue around in my mouth prohibits you from hearing it, but my palate is constantly clicking. When I'm not talking, it goes from sounding like a very strong oink. At one point, I was oinking to just a regular click, 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 click. And now that I'm more relaxed, I have more of a relaxed lifestyle. When I go to sleep at night, it sounds like a leaky faucet. I can kind of smile about it, but it's no joking matter. Really, the only thing that you can do to slow down any type of seizure is to reduce stress. So now that I'm not working, that's kind of calmed that down a lot. Um, then, about 2 months after being diagnosed with the fibromyalgia and the palatal myoclonus, I developed chronic daily migraine. So every day of my life for the past 8 months, I have a migraine. Every day, no matter what I do. This week, I'm actually about 4 days behind in recording this because I was waiting for a good day. And today is not a good day. I actually got up and did a couple things and took about a 4-hour nap because I was in tears because the room was spinning and my head was pounding so badly. So after a nap, I of course still have a migraine, but I'm able to do this recording. Did an allergy test because I was having trouble breathing. The doctor told me that the proof of the test would go away in a couple hours. Instead, 4 days later, I had to get a steroid injection. And even after the steroid injection, I was still red and I have scars, permanent scars right there from the allergy test. The doctor kept saying something. He kept saying I'm what they call dermographic. And what that means, it literally means right on skin. And so the test actually wrote on my skin. These are just some of my scars because, of course, it's hard to show on a video. different skin. This one is really gross, and that one's really gross. If you would like to contact me, the best way to do so is to email me on my Gmail account. You can also follow me on Twitter. I have a lot of not only funny but also informative tweets that I send out. You can also like my page on Facebook, and I ask a lot of questions that you can answer whether you are spoony or not. And also, please feel free to view my other broadcasts if you have not seen any of my other webisodes. Thank you and have a great day.